Hi everyone, it's Ed with Creative Solutions. I just wanted to give you a quick look at the forge I built earlier before the 2012 Sugar Creek Forge build-along started. And this is typically what I'm using now. This isn't what I'm going to be using for the build-along. What I'm going to be using, I'm going to actually show you how we're going to go ahead and make that today. It's a quick build, but it's a very efficient little forge. So let me get the camera turned around and we'll go ahead and start that build. Okay, I hope I can keep this in focus here. What I'm going to open is the material that we're going to go ahead and make our forge with. This material was purchased from, I believe, knifekits.com. And let me give you a look at what it is. This is actually what's the floor of my forge itself. What we have here is an insulating fire brick. It's light. It's about 3 pounds. I believe it's 9 inches in length by 4.5 inches wide by 2.5 inches thick. So this is what we're going to be building our forge out of. It's a very simple brick to carve and things like that. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and get set up. We know that we're at 4.5 inches here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut our chamber into the end here. Basically, it's going to be 1.5 to 2 inches wide by approximately 1 inch wide, and then it's going to go the full length of the brick itself. So I'm going to set this right center line. So at 2.5, we're looking at 1.25 for center. We'll go ahead and put a line here, line here. Now we'll just draw a center line. Got to be careful with this brick. It does carve easy. It'll fracture very easily. But it does make an outstanding single brick forge. This is not my idea, by the way. This actually was designed by a master bladesmith, Wayne Goddard, and this is taken directly from his book. And he calls it just a single brick forge. So this is not my idea. I'm just trying to pass this on to you. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm trying to see where I'm going to begin and end my chamber. Like thus. So that's roughly 1.5 inches. As you can see, I left a little bit more on the base. It's going to be my base end. And the tools that we're going to use to carve this is an old Ginsu. So this should be in their advertisement to show the quality of their knife. But not really. This thing could be cut with a spoon. So, and then a 1-inch spade bit. So have my drill here. Go ahead and get my spade bit in her. And this stuff is so light, I really don't need to put a chuck, anything to tighten up the blade, because it's just going to devastate this brick. What I did is I set a small piece of wood underneath so I don't drill through and actually drill into my vise. So if I want that to end there, I should start my hole approximately here. As you can see, that's how quick it actually drills out. You want to be careful. I just done that for demonstration purposes, but you don't want to breathe much of this in excess. I'm going to go ahead and just set it on the floor, make a pile down here. We'll clean it up later. But I just wanted to demonstrate how easy this brick actually drills. Whoop, yeah, my bit even fell out. my bit even fell out. Let's get tightened up again and back at it. I'm going to empty this out once again. And I am that far into my brick chamber already. Now I'm going to do another one right next to it. Okay guys, there you have it. Let me empty this out and I'll show you if I can show it to you. Here's the two holes drilled all the way in. One still has some powder in there, but so that's not an issue. What I may do, I may not even drill this all the way through, but what I'm going to have to do is take the Mighty Ginsu here and just finish shaping up my chamber. Just to give you an idea, this is how simple she cuts through. And that's the difference between insulating brick and hard brick. If you get a hard fireplace brick, you won't be able to cut through it like this. Actually, it's going to be a job getting through it with a masonry bit. So let me finish getting this cut out to the depth I want it to, and then I'm going to turn the camera back on. 2 minutes to do, 3 minutes, but here you have it. I have the chamber drilled. And it goes all the way through. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill the porch for where the flame is going to enter into the chamber itself. Now this mark here is actually the center of the burn hole. It's actually, that's what it's called, is the burn hole. Will be at the bottom of the chamber hole. So center of the burn hole will align with the bottom of the chamber hole. Okay? Hope that makes sense to you. Pretty simple. I do have the 1-inch spade bit again. I'm just going to drill it in. And this one you just want in far enough to enter into the chamber. You don't want to bore it all the way through, because then you're going to have a couple of holes in your forge, which you don't want. See if you could see that. Hopefully you could see that. what I'm going to do is I'll probably take my Mighty Ginsu there and just carve that out, finish carving that out. What I don't want to do, actually, I got to carve it at an angle, a slight angle. What I don't want to do is cut out through the back wall. So let me grab the Ginsu here, and we're just going to cut away at this. And if you can see, that's actually sloped. So as the flame enters the chamber, it blows it around, and it has a cyclone effect, and it just swirls the heat inside the mini forge. So basically, that's all there is to building the forge. You apply heat, and you're ready to forge. What I'll do is I'm going to show you one other thing that they do to help with the longevity of the brick. Since it's so fragile, and after it's been heated a few times, what happens, it starts to create cracks in the brick. So by no means is this a forge that you would consider using long term. I mean, you can use it until it disintegrates, obviously, but if you wanted to make a lot of knives, you may want a different option. Give you a look at it here, and as you can see, I'm just scraping where the flame is entering into the chamber. So it's right there. If you can see it, it slopes up into the air chamber as well to cause the cyclone action in there. But what I'll do now, I'm going to probably do this off camera, there's no need for you to see, is what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some baling wire. We call it baling wire here in the U.S. And I'll create small grooves. And I'm going to wrap this up with a couple sections of baling wire, and then we'll go ahead and fire up this forge. I'll show you how she burns. Okay, there we have it. You see it's wrapped with just a few pieces of baling wire. Just so when it cracks, it keeps everything together. Didn't tighten them down too tight because, again, you'll crush the brick. But there's our option. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get set up, and I'll show you how this thing runs. Okay, I went ahead and lit it. And as you can see, what I got set up here is just a propane torch. There's many different types of torches you can use. I just lit this right before I turned on the camera, so we'll go ahead and give it a minute to come up to temperature. I'm going to close the garage door so I can give you a better look inside the chamber. Okay, you might see a little bit of shakiness here. I'm going to bring down the tripod and see if we can give you a view of the heat chamber. You can see it glowing from this angle, and well, we've been on maybe a minute, 1 minute right now. So I'm going to go ahead and get this as low as I can. Try to still keep you in focus. Oops. Apologize for the camera work. Not a cameraman. Let me give you a look inside the forge. See if I could zoom in any. That's it. That's max zoom. I have a piece of steel over here. We've been running a minute, 15 seconds. This is a piece of O1 on this propane torch. Isn't a big one at all. I'm going to show you a couple of others that I... Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start my stopwatch. I can figure out how to do it. There we go. And this tip is a little more set up to do this. Actually, I'm on a lunch break from work, and I figured, oh, I got enough time, I'll go ahead and just get this done. It should only take a couple of minutes. I'm going to go ahead and pull this out, give you a look at it. Been in there about a minute and 20 seconds. Here's a magnet. You know, as Tim mentioned on his video, you want to test always. Still magnetic. We'll go ahead and get that in there a little bit more. Another trick with this little forge, guys, that's really neat, is you actually could put a block back here to keep the heat in. I have another brick that's all wrapped up. I may do that, I may not. It just depends. I throw a piece of steel back there and get the same effect. But I'm going to kill this light. Apologize for the shadow it's given. You're probably saying that doesn't look too impressive. This thing is very nice. Nice to do. If you could see that. About another 30 seconds and we'll be at quenching temperature. And there you go. 2 minutes, 30 seconds. And I've been fooling with it. I didn't even have this open at full bore. I have some with bigger tips, which I may just opt to use, and it'll put in more heat. That's the nice thing about this little forge. You could do small parts, folders, small tools, chisels, punches, things of that nature that you don't want to go ahead and fire up that big forge and burn up a lot of fuel for such a small part. And down here is my heat treating oven. I'm going to drop you down, see if I can give you a shot of that. I'm going to have to turn the light on once again. Keep in mind also that we're not bringing that blade up to temperature too quickly. There's my oven. So this is where I'll be doing my tempering. I do have an alternate thermometer there to check my temperature. Here's water, here's oil for the quench. So I'm going to bring us back up and we'll take a look at the blade again. There it is, non-magnetic. It's ready to go. And the chamber's so small, what's another nice thing, there's not a lot of oxygen in there. So the one brick forge is complete. Total cost was about $7 for the brick, and we'll throw in a couple of bucks for shipping. I actually purchased quite a few items, so my shipping was like $17, something like that. So $2 per item, especially for the bricks, since they weighed approximately 3 pounds. So you're looking at $10. The baling wire I had on hand, the propane, the torches, the torch I'm actually going to use for the demonstration. It's everything I have on hand. Nothing else was bought specifically to build that forge. So I hope you found it enjoyable. Again, that is not my design. That came from Wayne Goddard, and he has a book called The $50 Knife Shop. It's actually a very good read. I would recommend that to anybody that's up and coming, or even a person that's been into knife making for quite some time. He shows you how to build knives with very, very basic tools. Hence the name $50 Knife Shop. He also, to my understanding, done a follow-up with a $20 Knife Shop. It wasn't a book, it was a video series, I believe. But there you go. Another inexpensive way to build a forge, to heat treat your knife. And if you're fortunate enough to have a brick manufacturing company, a refractory, something like that in your area, or contact a local mason and see if they can get you, it's called insulating fire brick, and it has to be the light brick. If it weighs more than 3 pounds, it is not the right brick. You're just getting typical fire brick they use to place on the outside of fireplaces, grills, and things of that nature, and that's not what you want. So again, this is Ed with Creative Solutions. Thanks for watching.